Hello everyone, my name's Aaron Green of the Spanish Guitar Workshop, and today I am here with something absolutely extraordinary and special, which I'm very excited to tell you all about. This is a 1949 Hauser Yobet model. This is an instrument that I got to know about 7 or 8 years ago when I represented it then, and it has come back to me, and I am just super pumped to have this guitar again. I absolutely adore this instrument. This is an instrument with some pretty amazing provenance as well. This guitar was built for a gentleman in New York City by the name of George Giuisti, who was a rather well-known graphic designer, and his relevance to the guitar world is he was responsible for a lot of the artwork for that great publication Guitar Review, which was published by a man named Vladimir Bobry, and was affiliated, I believe, with Augustine Strings. Certainly these are all people who knew each other, and that may very well have been how Mr. Giuisti first got to encounter the guitars of Hermann Hauser through the 1940 Hauser owned by Albert Augustine, which was made famous by Julian Bream at the end of his career. Another Hauser that he probably was aware of was a Yobet model that was owned by Ray de la Torre, which I got to know many years ago when I was in New York in the summer of 2001. I actually got to meet the 1947 Dr. Cecil Hauser at that point, and at that very same weekend, the Ray de la Torre, both Yobet models, one of which had been played for the entirety of its life by concert virtuoso, and the other had never been played at all, which was a rather interesting comparison between the two. But I imagine that probably was the catalyst for Mr. Giuisti to order one for himself, and boy, he got the best of the bunch as far as I'm concerned. The success of this guitar for me is all of the characteristics of Hauser that we revere so much. The complexity and density of the notes, the unbelievable balance, not only across the strings, but within the notes themselves, of all of these characteristics, the immediacy and projection, as well as in this particular guitar's case, its incredible kind of Mediterranean Spanish character of its voice. It's a very unique Hauser in that regard, in my experience. And it's what makes me love it so much, besides the fact that it's just so physically beautiful. I mean, you can see these sides are just exquisite. In addition to Mr. Giuisti, it has some pretty cool provenance outside of that. This instrument was featured in the landmark book of guitar construction by Irving Sloane, Classic Guitar Construction, which came out in the late 60s. And that informed an entire generation of builders who used that book to then go and build guitars. And my hat's off to every one of them, because as great as the book is, to actually build a guitar from that book is a pretty amazing achievement. It did not have nearly the amount of information that later publications had. It was kind of the first of its kind, or among the first of its kind. But from that book, I know that this instrument was used by Jose Romanillos to model his 100 series guitars. So the great Jose Romanillos, his numbering designation always started out by identifying the source guitar. So the 100 series was this guitar, the 300 series was a Torres, et cetera, et cetera. So that's pretty amazing to me as well. And rightfully so, because again, this is just such an incredibly successful instrument, and I'm very excited to share it with you, and I hope you enjoy the recordings that Chris Ladd makes on it. Thank you for watching.